Unshackling my creative voice, breaking free from external expectations, and the human condition. By Cass Davis. For years, I had always second-guessed my every word and sentence whenever I sat down to write. It wasn't just any writing either, it was the stories I held deep within me, which whispered in my thoughts late at night, urging me to let them flow onto the page. But each time I tried, a shadow loomed over my words, the fear of what my wife might think. Mary was my biggest supporter, confidant, and harshest critic, all rolled into one. She had an uncanny ability to read between the lines and dissect the nuances of my writing. While her insights were invaluable, they became a double-edged sword, slowly embedding doubt into my creative process. One day, as a gentle breeze rustled the window blinds of my study, I stared at the blank screen, fingers hovering over the keyboard. My determination to silence the niggling insecurities that had been holding me back was strong, so I took a deep breath. Today was the day I would write for myself, disregarding everyone else's opinion, including Mary's. I began with a timid sentence, my fingers hesitating momentarily before they started dancing across the keys. The words came faster than I expected, like a river breaking free from its dam. The story flowed from my mind to the screen, unfiltered and raw. I didn't allow myself to dwell on whether Mary would approve of my choice of words, characters, or plot twists. For once, the only approval that mattered was my own. Hours turned into evening as I typed away, the world outside my window transitioning from the afternoon sun to a palette of warm oranges and purples. This newfound freedom was liberating to pour my heart onto the page without the weight of someone else's judgment hanging over me. When I finally stretched my cramped fingers, I realized I had written more in one sitting than in weeks. The story had taken on a life of its own, guided solely by my instincts and desires. And in that moment, I understood that the true essence of writing lay not just in crafting a flawless piece, but in expressing oneself authentically. As the days went on, I continued to write with newfound vigor. I shared bits of my progress with Mary, not seeking her approval but simply sharing my journey. Her eyes lit up with curiosity as she read through my work, and her feedback became less critical and more appreciative. My unfiltered words sparked a connection between us that went beyond critique boundaries. The day I stopped fixating on what my wife might think of my writing marked a turning point in my creative journey. I had learned to trust my voice, to let my thoughts flow freely without fear of judgment. And in doing so, I reclaimed my passion for storytelling and deepened the bond with the person who mattered most in my life. From then on, I continued to write authentically, pouring my thoughts onto the page without inhibition. And whether my words were met with applause or critique, I knew that I was staying true to myself, which was a reward far greater than any accolade. It's truly liberating to reflect on my journey from being gripped by the fear of judgment to embracing my passion for writing without reservation. I vividly remember the days when the mere thought of putting my thoughts on paper would send shivers down my spine as I endlessly worried about what others might think of my words. But here's the beautiful twist, I confronted that fear head-on. I realized that writing is a deeply personal endeavor, an art form that allows our thoughts to take flight in their most authentic form. I discovered that the opinions of others, though valuable, don't define the essence of my creativity. Overcoming that fear opened a world of self-expression, and I've grown to cherish the beauty in every word I put down. Now, I'm an advocate for anyone who dreams of writing. To those who've held back because of similar fears, I encourage you to embrace your words and let them flow freely. The world needs your unique perspective, your stories, and your thoughts. Don't let the shadow of judgment hinder your creative spirit. Remember, writing is a journey, and every step you take is a triumph. So, here's to all aspiring writers, let your words dance across the pages, your imagination soar, and your authenticity shine. Don't let fear hold you back any longer. Your voice and stories matter, and your journey is worth sharing. Embrace the joy of writing and watch how it transforms your words and sense of self. To my dear reader, I am thrilled to share an exposition of true stories that have captured my heart and imagination. I have given the characters fictitious names throughout these narratives and crafted delightful, successful conclusions. By infusing these tales with imagination, I hope to create a genuinely engaging and uplifting experience for you. Through the amalgamation of reality and fiction, I aim to unveil the beauty of storytelling and its profound impact on our lives. These heartwarming tales will remind you of the boundless strength and resilience of the human spirit, leaving you with a renewed sense of hope and optimism. I invite you to immerse yourself in these enchanting stories, and I sincerely hope they will bring joy and inspiration to your heart. With warmest regards, Cass Davis.